Did you know that kid snacks and a voiceover directed session are, in fact, intertwined? Well, they are for me, this year at least. Hey, it's Kelly Wilson with Real Talk, where a real voice actor, me, talks about what it's really like to be a voice actor. Hiring and working with voice actors, also my mindset struggles, wins, tips, tricks, and other stuff. You can check out the podcast, anchor.fm/KellyWilsonVO, and everywhere podcasts are available. If you hire voice actors, you can subscribe to my email community at kellywilsonvo.com/subscribe. Today's topic, directed sessions, but also how kid snacks, how they're intertwined and need each other, if you will. So if you don't know about me, I'm Kelly Wilson. Hello. I'm a voice actor, a mom, mismatched software, yep, still today. And I'm a real person with a real voice based in Twin Falls, Idaho. You can check out my full story, kellywilsonvo.com. So this is my podcast called Real Talk, and if I'm going to be doing a directed session, if I get hired for that, I want you to know that I take it very seriously. I mean, here's all the stuff I do just to prepare and prep. As I learn more and as I encounter things and as I take more classes, I can always add to this arsenal, but usually this is what I do. And I try to do a full computer reboot or update if needed, and I really try to do that once a week. Close everything, open it all back up, give it a good test, make sure everything's operational and working, make sure that reboot or that update was actually helpful. You've been there, right? And if possible, if I have time and I receive the copy in time, I like to print the final copy, and also save like a digital version to my desktop. You don't know how many times people have just been like, let's change this line or delete this line or something. And sometimes I like to write with paper and pencil, and sometimes it's just easier to delete on a word processor. It just kind of depends. I do like to try to be nimble and try to do either. Also, since I'm an Apple user, I have a Mac that I record on, and my phones have always been Macs or Apples, excuse me. So I like to copy the copy and drop it into my Apple Note app. And if you're an Apple user, you can use it on your phone. You can pull it up on your computer too. And they're just linked. And that's just, I just love that. This is also a great place to make changes on the fly or notes or whatever. Ooh, also, I like to write down the names and the titles of who I'm talking to, like all the session information. I just like to have it there on hand. I remember faces really well, but remembering names, horrible. And, if you're doing multiple sessions throughout the day, it's great to, just have everyone's names written down just so you don't lose track of who you're talking to and when. Also, if I can and there's time, I like to go into my Dropbox account, create a folder for the session. That way, once the session's done, I can just kind of quickly upload the audio and then just get it out quickly. Because usually the producers, they need it as soon as I'm done with it. And also I like to go into my Adobe Audition and just create an audio file name. That way, once the session starts, I pull up the file, I quickly hit save, and, everything's rocking and rolling moving forward. I've found that good prep saves time during the session, but also, and I think this is what I like the best part of it, is I like doing all the boring admin stuff first. That way, when I get into the session, there's nothing else I need to worry about but be voice actor, artist Kelly, and then I can just let the artist take over. And then I can just be fully engaged in the session, and it's more fun that way. I think it's a better experience for the client and a better product. And also it's just more fun that way too. So in the actual booth with me, always, but also during those directed sessions, I like to have sharpened pencils. I love the smell of a freshly sharpened pencil. Anyone else? Is that weird? Okay. I also have pens too, but I do prefer pencils because sometimes you'll go just to mark up copy, and sometimes you'll go through the copy one way, and then maybe you'll go through it again, and maybe there's multiple people on the call and they want to hear it two different ways, and then they're going to bring it to their boss, and boss gets to make a decision, or that one person just wants to hear it two different ways. So I do like to kind of, have an eraser so I can mark up the copy and make changes in case, we need to do something again, but differently. I also like sticky notes in the studio. I've done a video on this before. This is like a copy change on the fly or something, right? You don't have time to print it, and you just want to keep going. I have a really big screen monitor in my studio. if there's a certain change and I'm having trouble just remembering it, I slap the sticky note on the screen and I can just kind of read it. And then as the line is done, I can pull it off of the screen and then you can just keep reading, basically. I don't know if that made any sense. So yeah, I like the sticky notes for copy changes or just to help me out with random notes and stuff I want to remember. Ooh, I've also used sticky notes as props before. I was kind of desperate and I needed to sound like a little character who was chewing. So I did a couple with my imagination, and then I also did a couple actually chewing up a piece of a sticky note. It wasn't too tasty, but I think it worked out well. Also, I've used sticky notes just to to act like I'm looking in a mirror or something, and I just use it as a prop, basically. Just to help me, get into character more. So I like using it for that too. Always there's chapstick. I have wine corks in here if I'm having enunciation issues. I have water, and sometimes I'll have just a little cup of some Biotin dry mouthwash or maybe some green apples or something. And I've been known to hit the mute button, suck on some green apples between takes, or swish with some Biotin mouthwash in between some takes if I'm feeling the dry mouth or something. Especially those long sessions or something. Just kind of depends on the session and what's going on with my mouth. So before the session even starts, I like to brush my teeth, just because, it's good to do that, but also reduces mouth noise, and, that's important when you're voicing. And before the session starts, I want to make sure that I'm warmed up, right? I do vocal warm-ups, sirens. I really do, if I have the script ahead of time, I like to read through the script. If it's short, maybe a couple of times, not too much, because I don't want to, kill the magic of the directed session, if you will. And then I also like to do, especially if it's a shorter script, I do like to break out the wine cork and read some of that script, with the wine cork in my mouth, just to make sure the enunciation is good, if there's some hard words in there, if it's been a long day, or it's early in the morning, just to wake it up, get it rocking and rolling, it's almost like stretching out. Also, I've found, if you have those, the 2:00 feeling, going outside, going for a nice walk, a run outside in nature, even if it's cold this time of year, really does kind of get the juices flowing, get the creativity going, and then I can come in here and do this directed session and, bring it. I don't do a directed session every single day, but every day I make sure I drink lots of water, so I'm always hydrated, so I don't have to play catch up. It's all around good for you, but also reduces that mouth noise, right? Okay, so where do these kid snacks come in? Earlier I mentioned that kid snacks are very important when it comes to a voiceover directed session. Where are they at? Well, now that this pandemic has started, my son is schooling from home, and my usual sitter is not around to stay socially distanced and stuff, so kid snacks are important. Maybe the most important part of the directed session. If you're working from home, you probably already know this, right? And maybe you have an important meeting, an actual, set time, and that's really usually what a directed session is, hey, we're going to get together at 3 p.m. Eastern and connect XYZ way, and here's your script, and, it's a set meeting. So if you have something like this, a set meeting, I'm sure that that you best believe that those activities, drinks, snacks, the kids need to be safe and entertained. And those snacks got to be easily accessible, or else the kids are going to be busting in on you during your meeting, right? So for me, taking care of that is very important. For me, that means sometimes I am running to my office once my youngest son takes a nap. Literally, just how fast can I get in there so I can get her done? Sometimes that means getting really creative with my first grader schoolwork. Still trying to figure that one out. Snacks, so many snacks, man. Easy for my kids to grab without having to ask me. Sometimes I'll prepare. I'll do food prep either early in the morning or once a week. Apple, trying to give them food that's not bad for them. Trying to give them good stuff. Luckily, they still like apples. And also feeding them on a set schedule so I can anticipate, Mom, I'm hungry. You know what I'm talking about. And shout out to my husband for helping me in between his already busy schedule and just somehow working together to make it work. So yes, snacks are very important, even for a directed session. So it's definitely a lot more work this year, but, good thing those kids are cute. I love a directed session. They're fun. I get to talk to actual adults about, things that are not Minecraft, unless it's a Minecraft edition would be super cool. But, I actually get to talk to adults about, voiceover stuff, and it's fun. But getting ready for them is something I take very seriously. If you have a question you would like for me to cover on this podcast, or if you want to interview me on your podcast, email me, kelly@kellywilsonvo.com. If you are liking what I'm doing here, subscribe to my podcast, Real Talk, available everywhere you can hear podcasts, anchor.fm/kellywilsonvo. And if you hire voice actors, you can subscribe to my email community at kellywilsonvo.com/subscribe. Demos at my website, kellywilsonvo.com. Rate, review, share, tell a friend. Thank you so much. Bye.